Hey, Lightworkers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa and I'm from Beyond Your Sun Sign. This is a continuation from an Instagram post that I just posted at Beyond Your Sun Sign, and it was all about past lives. So I asked you to take a deep breath, to close your eyes, and to think of a number between 1 and 3. So 1, 2, or 3. If you chose card number 1, the past life that's affecting you right now is as a scribe or writer. So what the reading was showing based on this card is in a past life, you were a very, very prominent writer and you passed away before you could finish what you were writing. So you couldn't finish what you wanted to say. And now in this lifetime, it's going to feel like every time you want to start a project, you feel like you can't finish it. So there's always it's always dragging out and there's just never ever ending or closure. When it comes to communicating, it's like you can't explain it enough, kind of like what I'm doing right now. You can't explain it enough. You always get blocked or interrupted or somebody's not listening. But mainly also there could have been problems with writing in school, either dyslexia or whatever, some sort of learning impairment or something that makes you feel blocked. And it's because you need to finish what you were writing in this past life before the universe and your spirit is going to allow you to communicate anything else. So what it's saying is you want to write about a time where you felt like you need to move on, where you had to overcome an obstacle, where you had to have blind faith, where you had to trust it, we had to face it as well. We had to really move forward without looking back. And that is what you need to be writing about. That's what you need to be articling or journaling. And as much as you might be racking your brain right now, being like, when did I have to move on without blah, blah, blah? Sometimes it really is just nothing too deep where it's like, oh, my journey moving out of home and going to college and what that entailed and how that was part of, my evolution and my empowerment. Or maybe it's something as simple as when you felt forced into moving on, a heartbreak where a partner is saying, all right, you got to move out, something along those lines where you really had to face the facts that you needed to move forward, where it was your responsibility to move forward and to let go, where there was some baggage involved, where it was letting go of some turmoil, some emotional unrest into calmer, smoother sailing. But nonetheless, it was a situation where you had to move on. And now it's time to write about that experience. Even if it feels like it's not that deep, like it's not that interesting, it is something that your spirit needs to communicate and to release as a way of finishing what you weren't able to complete in that past lifetime. Okay. And make sure that you finish it in this lifetime, or else next lifetime, you're going to be sitting here pulling the same card. All right. The second card was about father. And this card was, it came out like this. So it ends up being a bridge between two parallel lives. So sometimes within past lives and reincarnation, we don't know that we're still alive in that lifetime. Sometimes people almost have like a split, and you'll see it in people in your life now where it's kind of like, they almost kind of like leave, where you'll be talking to them and you can tell that they're not quite there. Maybe they have to do it through drugs or alcohol, but you can tell that they're just not fully here, and they can feel it as well, where they're just not fully rooted. And a lot of times it's because they're straddling the two lives. They have parallel lives going on here, and they kind of have to go in and out, or they're astral traveling at night and they're waking up exhausted. So this person is straddling two parallel lives, in which this lifetime they're struggling with their father, or they have more focused energy on their father. And that's because in a past lifetime, they're currently a father as well. So we're seeing two sides of the father coin, being the child and then also being the parent. And what that's showing us in this lifetime is that there's some sort of deception. So in that past lifetime, as a father, you were deceiving, taking, this person is kind of like sneaking out in the night. There's probably some abandonment as well, even if it's emotional abandonment, being an alcoholic. And now in this lifetime, you're going to see a lot of those same patterns from your father. So the best way to heal that is to actively change your relationship with your father in this lifetime as a way of healing it in that past lifetime. So in this lifetime, if your father is abandoning you, or too strict or too critical or too open, like not serious enough, and you can't, or depressed, or whatever, or maybe they're amazing and you want to just keep that energy going. How you do that is by being active and intentional with your relationship with them, to realize that the more you heal that relationship, the more you're healing your child's relationship in a parallel life. And then the more you heal that relationship and the more you're a better father in that parallel life, the better your relationship will be with your father in this lifetime. And the more unconditional love, acceptance, abundance. When we have a good relationship with our father, we have amazing self-esteem, we have amazing drive. Our careers end up taking off because we feel empowered through our fathers. So it's not like, no, screw dad. It affects us, right? It affects your career, your finances, your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself. So it is important to do the work. All right. Okay, then if you chose card number 3, we're talking about Native American energy and also babies. So it goes back to, a lot of the babies and children that were taken out of their homes and forced to fit into a culture that is just so different. And it reminds me very much of being like a star seed or a light worker. We come down here, we're looking at Earth being like, why are you guys doing it like this? Why does it have to be like this? Why? And it's frustrating because we know in our hearts why don't you just do it like this? Why not use the planet instead of, destroying it? Why not use nature and work with it and with animals instead of destroying it? Why the hate instead of the love? And this goes back to that Native American culture where you're being forced out of this energy that just makes sense and being forced into a culture and into an ideology and into a practice and into a religion that doesn't really make sense. So we're going to feel that in our lifetime now, where it's feeling forced to fit into a society that doesn't resonate with us. And we just feel like we don't necessarily belong here. And what it's saying is how it's playing out in this lifetime is anticipating some sort of apology from not only a masculine fire sign, but also from a feminine Queen of Swords, so a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. So what the cards are showing is that this King of Wands, masculine fire sign, and the Queen of Swords, feminine Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, they were the ones that either were trying to keep you home, like they were your parents in that past lifetime, and it was completely out of their control, or they weren't empowered enough, so they just sort of said, all right, take the baby, right? Like, you need to kind of give them a little bit of grace and compassion and recognize that in that time, and to be growing up and understanding this culture and then some other entity coming in, they probably had so much trust, right? Because they don't work out of hate, they work out of community. So why would they anticipate that it would be, essentially a kidnapping, right? So as much as we in this lifetime will feel like we have a negative relationship with these parental figures, these authority figures, the masculine fire sign and the feminine air sign, and expecting some sort of apology that seems very, very deep, where it's like, I know that they'll never apologize for it, but you feel like you need an apology. And even if what you feel you need an apology for, it almost, like when you talk to people about it, it almost doesn't seem that deep, but it is, because it's coming from a past life. It's a past life of abandonment from the way you understand it. But it's really just something that we have to give grace and compassion to, because at the end of the day, the Temperance card here is saying it was all about divine intervention. Like, it is something that had to happen to you in this past life. As much as it's hard to see that and to not have that anger and that pain and that heartbreak, it was what was needed in order for your soul's evolution. So we can forgive now, we can let go, and we can heal and have that truth and reconciliation that we've been talking about. Even if you don't identify with the Native American culture, I would absolutely be exploring it more, researching it more, listening to these stories from Indigenous people, and just trying to open our hearts and our minds to what that could have entailed as a baby, and then working on forgiving, even if we don't fully resonate with the Native American culture as of right now. Okay, so I think I have to put out a past life reading special. So email me or check my Instagram at Beyond Your Sun Sign, or you can email me beyondyoursunsign@gmail.com, and I'll put out a past life reading special so that you can get more in touch with your past life and really figure out how it's working in a more specific way. All right. Love you guys so much. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.